2025 to scrub history, rewrite history. We'll go into anyway. Hey, folks, welcome to Lev Remembers. We got an incredible show today, end of the week, Friday. We have two incredible people here, Dr. Stephen Hassan, the cult of Trump, and then obviously Malcolm Nance, no introduction, Nasser Near, our spy. We don't even know where he's at. We won't even talk about it. Uh, but there's a lot going on that we want to go into, especially, some of the breaking news that started. Let's start off with that broke today. Some of the stuff that we've been talking about and telling you, if you've been listening and following me, Malcolm, what's it called, Michael, and Unleashed, we've been talking about that he is going to unleash, and he is not playing games. These announcements that he's making, that these indictments, these investigations, as we call them, into some of these high-profile names, not only Letitia James, but Adam Schiff and others, Miles Taylor and others that he's calling for. The media is trying to blow it off. They're trying to say that these are distractions from the Epstein files. We never said it's not a distraction, but that doesn't mean two things can't be right. That doesn't mean you can't walk and chew gum at the same time. And yes, as far as distraction goes, everything Donald Trump does is a distraction from the last thing he did, because that's how he operates. And Stephen will tell us more about that. But the crazy part about it is I'm hearing that this is just the beginning, folks, that he's about to go in full mega throttle. And if we don't stop this Charlie Kirk martyrdom that they're putting into effect, if we don't come back and start, putting the Epstein files back into the spotlight, if we don't come back and start right now changing, getting off this, sitting back and defending everything everybody's saying and doing and having everybody attack, we're going to be in some serious trouble, guys.
Yeah, and if I may, Lev, people need to understand how the billionaires who just got together with Trump and the king, how much they are manipulating the information feeds, and people need to really grab hold of it's my brain, it's my mind, and this is deliberate psychological warfare, and not take it seriously, and in real life interact with trustworthy experts. Malcolm's an expert. You're an expert. I'm an expert. We have the credentials, we have the experience, and we have the integrity to not lie. If we get something wrong, we apologize and we correct it. Like, this is the measure of a trustworthy source of information. And I just want to comment, Heather Cox Richardson, I'm a regular listener of her. I really liked yesterday's thing because she was saying it's a sign of his weakness that he's overcompensating with such heavy-handedness. And she thinks it's going to backfire because really the Republicans have always been free speech, and now they're directly attacking the First Amendment.
Well, it's definitely a weakness, because he's scared of 2026 coming up. He understands that, that if he doesn't steal the election, if he doesn't rig the election, if he doesn't do something to take it away, he understands that, everything they're doing is coming to an end. Once if there is a fair and square election, that's why we keep sounding the alarm. So absolutely, he's scared. And that's why, one of the things we spoke about on another show is he's like a rat. I think it was me and you. He's like a rat in the corner. He's like that rat in the corner right now that is could attack and bite and and attack you, and that's why you could expect anything from him. And the fact that just let's talk about for a second about the way he started doing it before. Just gradually, if we had if I had some technicians here and I could show the gradual transformation of Donald Trump, the way he speaks to reporters, it went from you're wrong, fake media, you're a bad person, you're not a good person, you're wrong. I mean, and graduate to right now. I mean, literally, as he was going to the UK, Australian reporter asked him a question, and he turned around and said, "Where are you from? You're a disgrace to your country." I mean, he black. I mean, he just literally and no media, no attention on it, no protests in the street. And this is why I'm saying to you, because he keeps pushing and he's getting no response. Same
Hmm.
thing, just like Trump is doing, just like Putin is doing in Ukraine, Trump is doing here. Every time he's doing something else, nobody, instead of responding something swiftly, like just think about any one of those actions, we should have millions of people in the street rioting.
Yes,
Not rioting. Let
not
me
rioting,
reframe
but
myself. Not
protesting.
rioting, protesting. Exactly. I apologize.
Hmm.
Protesting. We should have millions of people in the street boycotting ABC and Disney. There is ways. There is so many of us. There is more of us than there is of him, and to
Hmm.
Right.
keep to start holding these CEOs accountable for the decisions that they're making, like Facebook, like even the social media platforms. There's plenty of ways of doing it. People have to stop being so complicit and saying, "Well, I still want to watch my ESPN, so I got." No, we're fighting for our democracy here. This is a point where we have to make real changes. Go ahead,
Yeah, and
Malcolm. Go
I
ahead.
want some billionaires to pony up some independent media,
Yeah,
some social media that's reliable. We have Blue Sky, but it's not the same. But we have the resources, we have the technical skills, we have the motivation, but someone's got to take the lead and say this is what's critical for the future of our planet, because this is authoritarianism around the globe. This isn't just the U.S.
how many times have we said this on here before, Lev, about how suddenly there's no such thing as a liberal billionaire?
Yeah.
And not even a tens of millionaire. These people who are doing this, who are supporting Trump, money is supporting Trump
Yeah.
because they make the money. And so when we say things like right now, I mean, you look at Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, all the big journalists that have left journalistic, organization, you could create a a challenge network to MSNBC
Absolutely. To all of them.
to the
To
point
all
where
of them.
right, because there's 76 million people voted against Trump, voted for Kamala Harris. And we know that number could as high as 81 million, but they're not being served anywhere. I mean, I left MSNBC when it was also going into a very quiet conservative shift back
Right,
in 2022,
right.
really. And it was a black woman that was leading that campaign to become more like CNN. But here we are now in 2025, and they dominate all the cable news channels, right?
Yep.
Including, I mean, MSNBC has to, it's led by Morning Joe now, who nobody watches that show.
Hmm.
I stopped watching it last year on the 5th of November, 2024. I have never watched it. I was a religious 3-hour watcher of Morning Joe.
Hmm.
But when they made their big pilgrimage to bend the knee to Trump, it was clear that, that channel, which is now being cut away from NBC, right? It's about to become MS Now or something stupid name
Yeah.
like that. But we don't have people that will say like Sheldon Adelson, where he puts down $100 million.
I was there.
Yeah,
I
you
would
were there.
I collected the money for
The
them. I would go
bag
around.
man.
I would go. I literally, you would go and people would throw money at him just to be able. That's the crazy part, and that's
Yeah.
why I keep saying on our side, none of that. Where's the Mark Cubans? Where are they? Where's all of these
There,
guys?
there is a Mark Cuban, but Mark Cuban doesn't behave the way Mark Cuban speaks, right?
Thank you.
That's
Mark
a
Cuban,
key, right?
Mark Cuban, he ain't gonna talk against
It's the
money.
behavior, not what they say, right?
Yep,
Malcolm?
it's absolutely the behavior. But none of this. When you're talking really rich people, it's not cultism. Now, in the Republican Party, they do have that. They do have an enormous wealth fund where Trump, I said this when I was on TV with Ben Shapiro. My only real claim to fame was I was on MSNBC. And Ben Shapiro started at 18 with a $10 million grant from Sheldon Adelson. And then he went to law school, but never practiced law, and then was given another $50 million to create that entire world there. Charlie Kirk was the same thing. Charlie Kirk started at 17 with a lie, claiming that he was being shut out at Arizona State University. It's just utterly amazing that liberal, progressive people don't put their money where their mouth is past $20.
That's
I mean,
Yeah.
look at our Substack subscriptions, right? Who's that guy who was with Elon Musk? Matt Taibbi. The reason X does not allow links to Substack is because Matt Taibbi was hired by Elon Musk to, say that the news media were in the tank, and then Matt Taibbi only reported it on Substack, and he started literally making millions off of Substack through his association with Elon Musk. So now Elon Musk no link to Substack will work on Twitter.
Yeah, is it true, Malcolm and Lev, that Andreessen Horowitz are major funders of Substack? Because I heard that.
Well,
And
is this Mark Andreessen, one of the 4 South African billionaires who's part of the entire Dark Enlightenment movement? Mark Andreessen, James David Sachs, Peter Thiel, and Elon Musk.
That's what I'm asking, because
And
then we worry that they're
they're-
going to pull the plug or do algorithms to shut us down on
They're
Substack.
buying the future. Yeah, but Substack makes money.
Yeah.
And it's not until it becomes a threat.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
is there a Mark Cuban who will go, you guys have 77 million followers. I could get 76, maybe 80 or 90 million and do this. It's the obsessive spending patterns of MAGA people. Steve, you're going to have to explain this to us.
Yeah,
Tell
please.
us how the cult members give up everything to the cult leaders and the cult network, the grip.
So the explanation
And
really
Steven,
comes
I'm sorry,
back.
Steve.
Go
Steven,
ahead.
sorry, before you go. And then the opposite. Because what I'm also curious about is how come regular people it's so hard to follow a good cause and support, because like Malcolm said, you can't raise enough money to go get a first class ticket or a ticket to Boston, let alone New York. These guys come out here and say put up a GoFundMe or something like that, and they're raising millions and millions of dollars to go out there to spread this disinformation.
Yeah. We're living in an age of psychological warfare. Malcolm knows very well that you want to talk about, MK Ultra for all the QAnon people and everyone else. It's like every government has been researching brainwashing and mind control and what to do to protect their own people and how to co-opt and recruit agents. And if you can't recruit them ideologically, you buy them off or you blackmail them, right? Am I correct, Malcolm? These are the 3 principles. And what people need to understand is this has been going on for 50 years. This has been a very systematic, warlike, we're going to put this infrastructure in place and this, the Federalist Society and Opus Dei and Russia. And so the critical thing to understand is that like when Kirk died, there was, I think AP reported there was massive Russian, Chinese, and Iranian disinformation going into the left and the right, going, it's time for civil war. It's time to pick up our guns and we can't take this anymore. But they benefit by telling their people who are under mind control, totalitarianism, because they get to tell them, look what's happening in the U.S. You used to look to escape to the U.S. Ha ha ha. We keep you safe. We don't let people with assault rifles walking around on the streets, right? So a lot of what Trump says is for propaganda for the other authoritarians. But what I was saying the other day is, and I was just on Michael Cohen's Mea Culpa, actually came out today. But Americans' DNA is for freedom. It's very different than people who were raised in the Soviet Union or in China, where they're used to kings and dictators and czars. And I think the DNA of Americans are really not going to take this lightly and just roll over. However, there really needs to be clear messaging that's solid and not split. We need to have a pro-democracy. And my whole thing has been we need to look at this as a public health emergency. We
Which it
have a
is.
virus of mind control. The way we have to combat it is develop inoculation, teaching people what to watch out for, how to identify it, using former members who are out to explain their story, etc. We need to be doing trainings for mental health professionals, educators, media who are willing to learn, politicians. And we need to destigmatize coming out of the cult of Trump. We need to welcome our relatives, our friends who got radicalized, and just say, hey, life's too short. I love you. I miss you. I want you back in my life. And we need to spend more time in real life with each other and not just online. Human
It's
beings need to be in their bodies.
Hey, Steve, I want to ask you a question that because every time we talk, one of the things we always concentrate about the cult members, the members that are in the cult, and when I say members, I that to me applies to majority of the voters, the people, the regular. But what about these congressmen and women, senators? Like, not all of them are members. Some of them are members. Some of them are in the cult. Some of them are in the cult. But
Hmm.
when you take a situation like the Epstein files, when you take a situation where most of these people are fathers, mothers, have kids, daughters, some of them like Nancy Mace couldn't even sit in a meeting, ran out of there crying because of her own abuse. When you take something so because right now what they're trying to push on us is that we need to turn Charlie Kirk into this type of a martyr because he wanted to speak instead of fight. It doesn't matter the garbage he spewed, but because of that alone. But here we have such a subject that is completely bipartisan, something that each and every person should get along. And then yesterday, literally, I mean, you had the Congress vote on not not subpoenaing the financial paperwork of that. I mean, this is financial stuff that would lead to all this sex trafficking.
Right.
Right.
Then you have today you have right now Alex Acosta, the same Alex Acosta that gave Epstein the sweet deal, the same Alex Acosta that worked under Donald Trump in his first administration when I was there, the same Alex Acosta that should be right now in the public because they screamed it's for the public, should be right now having a hearing. The whole world we should be watching as he's being grilled by both sides. And to find out why he gave him a deal, why he gave him no persecution, why he walked out, and the story. They're covering it up inside these closed door hearings where Comer's going to come out. So where is that? Like, is that like? I know some of them are complicit. They're just as complicit in the crimes as Trump. Some of them are just as financial. They're just greedy. They want the power, the money. But we have a lot of people in Congress and Senate that we can't even get 2-3 votes out of 200 people to stand up to humanity and say, "Hey, it's killing me." What's
So,
You know what?
go ahead, Mel.
Sorry. Well, I was just going to make a quick little observation. We have a party that is literally defending pedophiles, child rapists, and they are not. The Republican Party has successfully, because they only do what Trump does, right? So if Trump deflects with all these crazy things that are going on, trying to indict Obama, talking about arresting anyone who's in Antifa, then if we don't reset the meta narrative, which is what was happening this week, no matter what he did, Congress was now out there resetting that meta narrative. The meta narrative was Trump is associated with child rapists, right? He's cut Ghislaine Maxwell a deal, got her in this pink, and it hasn't gotten into the mindset of the average American, but it's moving there. The crescendo is coming. And our biggest problem is we don't play the game at the level that they do.
Exactly, because
you know,
yeah, and honestly, if we were teaching the children of all these politicians and Supreme Court justice, if we were giving messaging that made sense for how they can have conversations with their families, that's how we would heighten the dissonance of about who they really are and playing the conformity game to stay out of trouble.
well, I mean, the easiest way to break that meta narrative is to ask the question. So you support child rapists? Yes or no?
And this is and Malcolm and Doc, this is what I'm saying. Something simple, like, look, I was part of it. I'm not proud of it, but I was part of building that mega movement that uses the disinformation. Part of that was to put disinformation, putting that stuff that we got Russia up disinformation about the Bidens and pushing it through the media to get it pushed out. So
Mhm.
what I'm saying here is we have what it takes, but nobody's saying. Like, I'll give you an example. Well, right now we shouldn't be, and this is the whole. Right now, everybody should be listening very carefully. This is from somebody from the inside. Instead of us sitting here defending Charlie Kirk and talking about even what he's doing to what's it called, getting rid of these talk show hosts, what he's doing all over the place. Not concentrate on that. We should have a unified message and concentrate. The survivors stirred on Capitol Hill and
Right,
wanted to see the president of the United States.
right,
We should be all talking about that's great. That's great. Whatever you want. You want to hold a vigil for Charlie? Go ahead and do that. But in the meantime, when are you going to have the survivors in the
right.
Oval? When are you meeting? Oh, it's great.
That
You wanna hold a vote? Great. When are you going to hold
That's
the
the
survivors?
leverage.
And that's
That
it. That's the only message. We should not be talking about anything else. That's his kryptonite right now because I'm telling you, he would
I
not.
I
He would
agree.
die to sit. He's not going to do it. He's going to start deflecting, and the more power, and that will unite because that's what united. That's what broke up Mega. That's the psychological thing because when they start here, because right now all these Mega are hearing. The left is trying to hurt Charlie Kirk. The left is laughing at Charlie Kirk. They're getting more angrier. They're getting more cultonized. They're getting more mobilized. But
Yeah.
if all of a sudden we switched this around on them and said, hey, that's all cool, but we want the president and use their voices because the survivors are asking themselves, Mr.
right.
President, please listen to our story. That's all should be playing. That's what the billionaires should put money right now. There should be all over TV. That's the campaign ads, not campaign ads, but just commercial ads should be running. President Trump, please listen to the survivors. Have us in the Oval. You have Marjorie Taylor Greene asking him to do it.
And Charlie
Mhm.
Kirk was bringing it up again.
Exactly.
He did start to bring it up again. But trafficking is an international crime.
Mhm.
Force, fraud, or coercion. And labor and sex trafficking experts love my BITE model of
Right.
authoritarian control, behavior, information, thought, and emotional control because it explains those three things in great detail. So I'm encouraging people for free, download the Influence Continuum, download the BITE model, and get educated. This is what trafficking does. They change your identity. They change your sleep. They control your identity and make it dependent and obedient. And my theme for my work is it's your mind and only you should control it. Don't
Mhm.
don't allow the AI to control you. Don't allow Teal to control you. Don't allow
Mhm.
Trump to control you. It's your life, and
Well,
you have responsibility.
but there's part of the problem because, I remember when we were coming into the run up to the election and everybody was feeling good. One of the factors that people were bringing up consistently was, I'm ready to be able to have a normal life without thinking about politics or an economic disaster on a day-to-day basis. Now it's going off the scales. I mean, it's off the scales here with Trump. He understands the concept of creating mayhem in order to in that chaos allow him to dance between the raindrops. you know.
And if
And I
you want to brainwash people, make them fearful, uncertain, disrupt their sense of control, and that's where the authoritarian voice, I
Mhm.
know everything, I know more than the generals,
Right.
comes in.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and he did learn hypnosis, and that's a whole nother topic I could spend weeks explaining to the public that
Really.
when you're hypnotized, you're not asleep, you're absorbed. You're in a state of heightened concentration, but your
Mhm.
critical thinking is offline. So if
Mhm.
there are bad actors and want to put beliefs in your head that you would normally reject, entrance people.
Mhm.
But just think about what's happening right now, and this is why I think it's important to have your point of view, Doc. Is they Donald Trump just a few weeks ago, before the very unfortunate and assassination of Charlie Kirk. Prior to that, the Epstein files were in full effect. There was a big push. He couldn't get rid of them. Mega. And the most important part, what we were talking about, discussing constantly, was how Mega was at each other's throat.
Mhm.
Now, what they have done is taken the death of Charlie Kirk and starting to unite Mega again with
Mhm.
that same anger that brought Mega to become Mega. To
Well,
bringing up
They're
again,
trying.
it's. I'm telling you, it's working. I'm
is
watching.
there,
Yeah, go ahead.
Doc, I got a question. Is there an analogy to this that within the cult groups that you studied? I mean, wasn't there a break in Shinrikyo between like Soko Asahara and one of his deputies that led them to go on and do a terrorist attack, or I think it was
I actually
not the
know a lot
Tokyo gas
about
attack.
that cult,
I
and
know you do.
60 Minutes flew me to Japan when the sarin gas attack happened.
I remember
And Shoko Asahara claimed to be Jesus and Buddha.
at the same time.
They had a multi-billion-dollar cult with military, army, police in it.
Mhm.
They had a computer business, and they were major conspiracists
And
as well.
don't forget about their Australian sheep farm that was
Yes,
something like 500 acres where they were doing the sarin gas
testing.
testing on
Yeah,
sheep.
yeah.
And the
No,
reason it
this
didn't
was
kill everybody in Tokyo is because the sheep don't weigh the same as a human.
Yeah, and part of what my understanding from former members I've spoken with who are in the higher, at least access to it, because there was an inner circle who knew about this, and most people didn't.
Mhm.
But that Shoko Asahara wanted to prove his spiritual divinity and prophecy, so he was prophesying an apocalyptic attack and wanted to blame it on the CIA and the Jews and the Freemasons. That was those were the devils that the guy got hung by the Japanese government after being tried.
Yeah.
But this and the Japanese, that affected them, and the Japanese government, God bless them, dissolved my cult there, because after the attack on Abe, they realized that all of their government officials had been co-opted. A lot of them, not all of them, by the Moonies. And right now,
Right.
Mrs. Moon is up on trial in South Korea, which is
Oh,
fascinating. While Moon's two sons are in Pennsylvania with their AR-15 gun cult and
that's crazy
factory
church.
with Michael Flynn recruiting militia.
Yeah.
So and back to the media. The frickin' Moonies bought the Washington Star, turned it into the Washington Times 50 years ago. And they've been a
Hmm.
propaganda mill for the right wing ever since.
Hmm.
Seriously, they are the single biggest purveyor of climate science denial on Earth, according to David Lipsky's book, The Parrot and the Igloo, on climate science denial. So people need to understand, who are the puppet masters, who are the bad actors, and what's their agenda. And the agenda with all of these malignant narcissists is power, money, and sex. It goes always power, usually money, sometimes sex, but usually sex. Those three
Hmm.
things. They don't know about love. For them, it's just about wanting to feel good about a self that they deeply are insecure about because they really didn't feel love as a child.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's exactly what Mary Trump, Donald Trump's niece, said about when she was on my show. I asked her, I said, Mary, when we were when we were at the end of the show, I said, what's one thing you would tell your uncle, because he's probably watching the show anyway. So she looked in the camera and said, I feel sorry that you were never loved as a child.
And it's true. And I wrote about Trump's history and his authoritarian father, and looking at people as prey, or predator or prey, and Roy Cohn, and then the Norman Vincent Peale cult that he was raised in, that links directly to all these prosperity ministers like Paula White Keene and all the New Apostolic Reformation people who say, give us money and you'll be blessed. Put it on your credit card. We
Right.
need another plane. We need another mansion. This kind of wishful thinking, and if you doubt, then it's a sin kind of programming, and it's a mind control cult. Not healthy. Guys, I'm going to need to go, but I'm so grateful. I mean, seriously, we need each other to lift each other up. And honestly, my hope is that, I was as indoctrinated as I've ever met anyone that I've ever helped to get out of a cult. And that's what gives me hope. If I can get free, a lot of people are going to get free. And the issue is how to find what the combination lock is for each person that's going to get their real self activated to go, that's not right. I can't stomach that.
Hey, Doc, I as somebody was pure mega, I'm telling you, we have that. We're not using it. It's called the Epstein files. It's called the survivors. We have it. We have the tool. We have the kryptonite. We have it. We're just not using it properly. And that's why if we could get to somebody, one of the people I'm thinking about, we keep throwing these names out, but somebody, for all our subscribers out there, followers, everybody should give Governor Pritzker a call. The Pritzker family is very wealthy. He's a really good man, and he's somebody that might really need
one guy.
our help. Huh?
You know what? He's one guy, and I would love for him to do, if I could do any one thing besides my highway overpass campaign, to put it that, to take over 1,000 overpasses and do one meta narrative phrase like speak to Epstein's victims, or
exactly.
Stop protecting child rapists, or
exactly.
MAGA equals pedophiles, whatever. That is one thing. I would go to Pritzker and I would say, I want to start Project 2029. This is what we are going to restore. And, I'd be saying crazy things like they did. I'd say every person ever fired by the United States government will be given an opportunity to be given their job and receive all their back pay for 4 years.
And you're 100%. No, you're 100% right. And that's but the part of what the whole key to it is, what Pritzker needs to do is put together a group of people like you, like me, like Dr. Hassan, like others, Michael and others, that know and have different knowledge, and put together the right consolidation and then put together the right response plan. That's how we did it in Mega, the same exact way. That's how Brad Pascal did it, with putting it together. It's not, you use the technology that we have today with AI, use the technology we have today with all our and we have the money. The Democratic base has more money than they could do with it. It's all, and it's about the right messaging. And right now we have the power, we have the kryptonite, and we could do it. Hey, listen, Doctor, thank you for joining us. I know you got to
Steve, I appreciate it.
Steve, thank you for being
here. Check it out,
everybody.
if you haven't read it.
Exactly. I was just about to say, everybody, make sure to go subscribe to Dr. Hassan. Make sure you get his book, The Cult
Press that
of Trump.
Gray button at the top that says, with our names. If you press that gray button at the top that's scrolling, Lev Parnas, Dr. Steve Hassan, all of the subscriptions will come up down along the bottom, and you press all three of them, and you subscribe to Steve Hassan, Lev Parnas, and myself. And and I'll get you
I
at
didn't
least
know that. I'm new to
1,100
Substack.
followers. Yeah, I
I
just
didn't know
figured it
that.
out a few weeks ago.
We're all learning ourselves. We're all
And
learning
thanks for
ourselves.
pronouncing my name right. It's like Maggie Hassan.
I'm
Steve
Hassan,
working on
Hassan.
right.
it. I'm working on it, Doc.
Yeah. All good.
All
Take
right,
care,
guys.
guys. See ya. Bye.
Take care, Lev. Are
Bye.
we out, Lev?
No. We're
Oh,
still
okay.
here.
We're still good.
Yeah, we're still
Yikes
here.
almighty. Oh, yeah. Having a
Oh my
cult
gosh.
experts
So,
round is
well,
really enlightening. It's a good way of putting it. These people are literally crazy, as you know. And they
100%.
believe, look, if Trump were to make them drink Kool-Aid, the only question they would ask is, do they get an option of flavors? No problem to, go out and destroy themselves and their families. Economically, they're doing it right now.
Oh, 100. The crazy part, Malcolm. The crazy part is, I'm telling you, like if I don't know what it is. Maybe I don't know. Well, maybe if we scream loud enough, eventually somebody will answer. But if we have the game plan, we have. Hey, Alexander.
Hey, Alex.
Hey,
Hey,
how are
what's up,
you?
brother?
How
I
you
saw
doing,
I saw
Malcolm?
you.
It's been a while.
Hey, all right, Alex. Good to see you. Well,
I saw you in the chat, and I figured, why don't you come up and join us? Because I wanted to speak to Malcolm actually a little bit about, we haven't, Ukraine, Russia, because with all the craziness that's happening over here, this maniac that we call Donald Trump has just been over to the UK, pretending that he was the king, getting the royal pompous treatment. Meanwhile, in the meantime, Ukraine's under fire. Putin is still actually playing not only real war, but now he's on the border of Poland with Belarus and the Baltic countries, just like he was in 2022 when he said he was playing, remember, war games until it became real war. Now he's also on the border of Poland. There was pictures of him flying in there today, Malcolm, literally, testing out, playing these games. Poland has closed the Belarus borders.
order.
There's drones being flown over Romania, going back into Ukraine, and it's the crazy part about it is to watch how Donald Trump and finally the Europeans are starting to realize that he's complicit because of the deal that he proposed. That he said, "Hey, you know what? You all have to stop buying Russian gas before knowing very well that neither Hungary, nor Slovakia, nor Turkey, that these countries, that are NATO countries, are going to stop it." And this plan that I'm hearing that he laid out was proposed to him by Putin himself, and this is part of the distraction and to walk away because
And
this
there's
is
a
not good.
reason for this, because and this started in late August with the meeting, right? And
Yep.
I'm sure Alex will be able to back me up. There are very devastating, catastrophic effects taking place on the battlefield in the Donetsk sector near Pokrovsk and Dobropilia. The Russians carried out an attack in late July, which thrust like a single finger of forces that managed to get 15 kilometers behind Ukrainian lines. And everybody was like, oh my God, this is a major disaster. It was, because the Ukrainians weren't paying attention. But the counterattack on that had led to a 3-finger wide area that the Ukrainians have. First, they surrounded the initial one and wiped it out. Now they've gone to the follow-on forces and are cutting through and have cut them off. There are no less than 4 major Russian military brigades, that may be as many as 5 brigades, which is something like 20,000 forces, who are surrounded by Ukraine and may, in fact, be wiped off the face of the earth and could actually open up a massive hole for the Ukraine to counterattack into Donetsk. Bad craziness on the Russians' part.
Well, hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, it is, and I'm concur with what you said, Malcolm. And the reason that finger got through is, well, I guess we can talk about it now.
You could talk about it. We've discussed it before.
Yeah.
Incompetence on some guys' parts.
No, there was a rotation. There was a rotation, and one group was leaving, and the other one was coming in. and within their window, that's when they pushed in. So they somehow leaked out that everything was open. So in the matter of hours or day or whatever, they got through, and now, first of all, they having a problem with supplies. Because in Donetsk, Ukraine blew up all the big supplies. They killed like 40 officers just the other day. Whatever they were sitting in one bunker, they just hit it. And right now, Ukraine is going on a counteroffensive under Pokrovsk, and Pokrovsk is what everybody was screaming about. But
Well,
right now,
you were just there, weren't you? Delivering aid around there just now, not too far from Alex.
Yeah. But let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
I've seen this happen before, and I'm watching it happen again. Here is a cycle. When 2022 happened, when the war started, I've never seen Ukraine closer. I mean, Malcolm, you were here. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I mean, if there were two neighbors that were ready to kill each other, they became brothers. They became brothers. They would like this.
Especially after Snake Island.
Especially Snake Island. Snake Island. That was like the glue.
I went around Lviv. I was on my way to Kyiv after Snake Island, and I couldn't believe it. And every person on the street was going, Voeni Ruski, Idi Nachoy. I couldn't believe it. And I said, this is almost like Stay Calm, or what is it? And Carry On. Stay Calm and Carry On in English. Everyone loved it. You knew you were going to win the war when I heard that.
Yeah, of course. Not only that, they made the postmarks that they are most expensive. I have a whole booklet.
I got a set.
Stamps. Yep. Anyway, but what happened is then 2024 came. In 2023, it was a counteroffensive, and Biden's. They squeezed. They were just giving us drops to survive, but not enough to take over. I mean, everybody was ready to go all the way down to the borders. So that was a knockdown. 2024 was like a recuperating. Everybody lost belief. There was a problem with the army. Nobody wanted to go fight anymore. Blaming. 2025 right now, because after Trump, the bombardment picked up. And he got real heavy after Trump's inauguration. I mean, for the past 6 months. And what happened is they miscalculated, because this bombardment got people pissed and together. And the latest right now, 78% of Ukrainians don't think we should give up an inch, don't care what they do. They want to keep on going, and they believe if you're going to win. So everything they doing is plus. Not only that, in Ukraine, there is a news coming out every day. We making 20 Tomahawk like missiles a month. I mean, this is, you don't have to buy them, we're making them. And they're saying that they're going to supersede Tomahawks when the time comes. That's number one.
And they're using them. We just saw an oil refinery 1,400 kilometers out get hit. 1,400 kilometers.
Yep. Number two, every night we hit a refinery or a weapon depot or logistics center, not nonstop. Number three, a week several contracts get signed. Several contracts get signed where Ukraine is opening up a joint venture in Europe, someplace, all over the world. What happened is I read the book, The War, by he wrote about the book about the Biden thing. The way they were running around and trying to talk to everybody and keep everything together, that's what Ukraine is doing right now. Because look at this, China's playing this whole thing. Everybody's doing their own things. So, but Ukraine is like in everybody's pocket, in everybody's hands, in everybody's shoulder. So they're everywhere. They while everybody's just trying to look out for themselves, Ukraine is making a spider web. And the spider web, and the beauty of this is that the way Trump played himself, which is going to backfire. But watch, Europe's going to find a way to stop buying oil, and then he's not going to have a choice. They're going to give it to him. They're going to package it to him. But not only that right now, the way China came back and told Europe, you better not follow America, otherwise you're going to have to deal with us. So this means that Europe now it's not even a talk. The Europe understands that Ukraine and Europe is one.
Hmm.
Without Europe, it's going to be hard for us. Without Ukraine, it's going to be hard for Europe. But right now, they're already starting join the operation to teach Polish army how to shut down drones, because we have such a high rate success,
Right.
because
Hmm.
they're if you shut them down. So everything's connecting, and what they're doing is like, you know the expression, whatever doesn't kill us makes us stronger. This is
Right.
exactly what's happening now. We got through the winter, we got through the spring of everything Trump did. Stop the weapons, stop the
Hmm.
satellites, stop this, stop that, fight in the Oval Office. Everything it's like football. You down 14-0, but then your quarterback all of a sudden got rhythm going. And this is Ukraine right now. We are in rhythm. So now is the second half of the game. So to me, right now is the second half of the game, and because we are pushing them down, the other team, the US, and like all the adversaries on the other side, they surprised that they know that they've been wiped right now. So there is cracks within them, and on everything that's happening all around with the adversaries, our enemies, is our friends.
Hmm.
Because we use the incompetence, we use the inside problem, and our government from after that Oval Office, it's been nothing but smiles, and they get everything they want. They're not arguing, because they figured out everybody's point, how to speak to everybody, and how to do everything. And the final thing is the biggest thing: the UK trip. The UK trip, the way th- that wasn't accidental. That was planned out. The way they came out in a blue dress and a yellow dress. That wasn't just
Oh,
a fluke. That was not a fluke. That was a message. So right now, what I see is there is a double agent everywhere. Every country is playing a double agent. Malcolm, correct me if I'm wrong. Every country is
Well,
playing
Malcolm,
double
you're the
game right
spy.
now.
You've been a double agent. Tell us
Subli-
how that.
this is all subliminal messaging, right? The meta
Yes.
narrative, to keep, Trump is too stupid to understand it, right? But the rest of the world gets it. I mean, it's sort of like the way that,
Oh yeah.
they let him go on, and he thinks he's giving the greatest speech of his life, and he's actually one of the stupidest speeches of his life. Just let him go, right? So I think it worked out. It's going to work out, or it did work out quite well. But
Oh.
the man's a moron. What do you
No,
expect?
I'm not even giving him thought. I mean, you in America, people should give him a lot of thought, because, but doctor's right. This is not just
Mhm.
American problem. This is global. Because whatever happens in America affects the world. If there is a
Mhm.
financial problem in America, affects Europe, affects the world. If there is any crisis in America, it affects the world. Because for the past 80, 90 years, America controlled all over the world. The money is all over the world, in everybody's pocket, in everybody's back pocket, in everybody's bank. It's so connected to America, and the
Mhm.
world understands that, because 2008 was a test. America had a problem with its financial, with the real estate market, big problem. The entire financial system went under, and it touched Europe, it touched everybody else, and it sure enough, and everybody's like, what we got to do with that? But it did.
Mhm.
But right now, with America playing not a trustworthy anymore, everybody understands, and everybody sees where America is going. I've been reading headlines in Europe that that there is America going in recessions, and by some, not just somebody talking out of their neck. So if Europe knows America might go into recession, that they're doing everything possible right now to not be affected by it.
Yeah, America is going into recession.
We
There's
are.
no question. We've
Yeah.
already had 2 quarters. We're going into stagflation now.
Yeah.
By the end next quarter, we'll be in a recession. You know, because the policies are just nuts, and it would be smart for the Europeans to start playing their other cards. Same with the way the Canadians are doing.
No choice. No choice.
Canada's
They don't
like,
have a choice.
we're gonna go get different partners because you're just a fucked up one. We're gonna take ourselves off of the crack cocaine of American money and go get money elsewhere.
So it's just to say that even though even though it looks all up and janky and everything looks good and there is some good news coming up, there are people still dying, and I got some information. I'm not going to repeat the numbers. I'm not going to go that way, that direction. But there are bombardments every night. They're saying shaheds every night. They're saying missiles every night. They're saying cluster bombs every night.
Right.
I mean, there is still terrors going on. Yeah, we're managing to fight back somehow and keep on standing. We don't just stand; we hit back.
Mhm.
But it's still it's still crazy over here. I mean, there is still terror. There's still bombardment.
And that's
Mhm.
why we set up this platform, Voice from Ukraine, and that's why we're speaking to Ben Midas and the Midas
Give me
brothers
one
to
second.
make this even bigger, put it on the YouTube channel, because what the media has done is shut this out. You don't hear about any of this anywhere with nothing. Nobody's talking about Ukraine at all. Nobody's talking about the constant bombardment. The only thing you hear about is now Trump's fake deal they do. So, folks, I want to first of all thank all of you for coming out on a Friday. I want to wish you guys a great weekend. I hope you got some really incredible information today. This was a really incredible show. Not only you had MALCOM, NANCE, myself, but we had Dr. Steve HASSAN here. We had Oleksandr straight from
Oh,
Ukraine.
that's good.
You've gotten some really, really interesting. Oleksandr, are you there? We lost you.
Yeah. I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
Hey, took a break.
Yeah, you've been able to get some information, and the most important thing, the things you're hearing here, you're not hearing on none of the mass media. You're not hearing it on any
No.
of the pundits out there or any of these, so-called media personalities. So, what I'm going to say to you is, I'm going to be very serious with you right now. We're at a fight for our lives, for a fight for our freedoms all over the world, in Ukraine, in the United States, in Canada, everywhere you name it, and that's why I'm going to ask each and every one of you right now. Hit that button on top over there and subscribe to all
Great
three
button.
of us. The gray button on top there. Subscriptions are for free. Building this platform is more important. All of us give free content. Most of the content is free, and it's there to be able to spread, because we're here to save our democracy, to speak truth to power. For those of you that can afford and become a paid subscriber, like I say, everybody has to do something, because that's what allows us to be able to give the free information to everybody else, because of people like you that can't afford it and to go out there and become paid subscribers. So thank you. And for those of you that haven't yet, it's standing on the side, now is the time, because doing it nothing is not an object. Malcolm, Alex, let's get the final word.
All right. Well, final word for me is, I think it was great we had Dr. Steve Hassan on to talk about The Cult of Trump, which is his latest book, and to just show us how far down the rabbit hole these people are. But like you said, you got out, he got out of a cult. It's a question of figuring out what is the key that's going to get these other people to stop realizing they're destroying their lives for a fat, demented madman.
Alex, take us home.
I wanna say thank you. I want to say thank you to America, and I want to say thank you to the world, to Canada, to Europe, to everybody that supports Ukraine. I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody that supported this last mission to Kryvyi Rih. And not just Kryvyi Rih. There is still the last batch I just sent to Zaporozhye, to Kharkiv. This is non-stop, because what they tell me that as soon as they come in, the soldiers grab him, because this is like a lifeline. This dry shower practice, because he wakes them up. They don't eat. The soldiers in the trenches, they don't eat. So they had to use the restroom and come out of the trenches, because drones is so dangerous. So anyway, so I want to thank everybody for support, because the war we're fighting for democracy. We're fighting against tyranny. We're fighting against terror, because we're standing up to the bully. America right now is standing up to the bully. What you guys are doing is standing up to the bully. And hopefully, when the whole world realizes that is the water on their backs is not rain, everybody's going to stand up and get to the bullies because,
Mhm.
like Lev said, there is only little groups of them, but there are billions of us. And without us, they don't exist
That's right.
because they can only exist if you let them exist. So
Mhm.
let's trim them down. Let's tell them how they can exist. So glory to Ukraine, glory to our heroes, Slava Ukraine, and God bless
Geroim
everybody.
Slava.
Героям
Thank you,
слава.
guys.
Geroim Slava.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Malcolm, Alex. And for all of you, before you go, 3 o'clock, we're going to do our special paid subscribers Q&A. If you haven't become a paid subscriber, now's the time, 3 o'clock Eastern. Come join us, ask any question, Malcolm. And also, don't forget, FAFO.org.
FAFO PAC. PAC.
PAC.org. There you go. FAO. Make sure. And obviously, Alex, thank you so much for everything you do. Guys, have a great day, and I'll see you at 3 o'clock. Paid Q&A.
All right.
Join me. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you for having me.